Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be looking at the Tornado V4 Pioneer, which I have right here. Now obviously they look visually similar, but you'll find out very soon whether I think that it's a performance improvement. Either way, this cube has quickly become one of my favorites, and if you didn't see my last video on the Tianma, you'll see soon where I'd put it on my newly minted personal tier list. Starting with the unboxing again, I quite like what they've done here. It's nothing fancy like the TG's box, but it has nice vibrant colours and a high quality feel. Obviously you get a little card, which is normal now on these premium cubes, and inside you get an equally high quality carrying box. It's second only to the Volk box in weight and sturdiness, and I actually think this might be the same plastic. It's a little heavy, but it closes with an extremely satisfying thunk. See if you can hear that. On a side note, I know I ragged on the TG's box before, and I will continue to do so because it scratched my Tianma, and I'm a little bit upset about that. I was going to say that it's a very good box in that you can just throw it everywhere, but clearly it doesn't actually protect the cube, so boo. Anyway, back to the unboxing. Inside the accessories box, we have a nice metal screwdriver, a carrying pouch, a cleaning cloth, and most importantly, we have a blank center cap. So that's very good if you don't like logos or you want to do blind. Obviously the WCA regulations have changed now, but still nice to have. We do have a few more cards here, and I believe there's a CFOP and a RU tutorial in here. On the quality front, I'm not super impressed with the cube itself. Mine came with a clicky magnet on the blue side. I'm not sure if it's still there or it sort of settled into a place where it's not clicking too much, but in general the cube clicks a little bit. There's a little bit of a brown mark underneath the UV on this piece here. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a little bit annoying. And there is also an imperfection in the UV coating on this center cap. There's like a little square where it's a bit rough. Other than that, there's also a couple of ill-fitting corner tiles. Can't see it too much anymore, but you can definitely feel that the seams are a bit rough. Other than that, it feels solidly built, and I like the feeling of the UV coating. It's a bit of a surprise because I generally don't like UV coating, but this one's grippy, it's shiny, and it doesn't have the oily feeling that I experienced on the Worm V9 or even QiYi's own Hong. I'll just preface this section on feel and performance with the fact that I dropped my PB-AO100 by a full 0.4 seconds using this cube. Suffice to say, it works extremely well for me when I'm turning well. The feel is very much a combination between the TV2 and TV3. It strikes a middle ground between the former's blockiness and the latter's flexibility, making it quite a stable and reliable cube without being too restrictive. The reverse corner cutting is far better than the TV2's, but marginally worse than the TV3's, so I do need to be fairly careful with my turning accuracy. The plastic feels very similar to the TV3's, but the overall turning feels more like the TV2 in how crunchy and light it is. It's not quite as buttery smooth as the TV3, but it's still quite a soft and plush cube relative to other ones out there, especially after some break-in. The magnets are also relatively tactile and bumpy, and there is almost no auto-align due to the repelling edge magnets. And yeah, the elephant in the room is probably that strange magnet setup. I'm a bit torn on how I feel about it too. On one hand, I don't like how it looks, and how it can cause turns to not completely finish. On the other hand, I think it gives the cube some extra tactility without actually having stronger magnets, which I do like, so overall I don't mind it. On the topic of magnets, the maglev adjustment system is both the same and different from its predecessor. I'm currently running mine on inner 2, outer 2, compared to inner 4, outer 4 on the V3 Pioneer. They feel and look similarly loose, and if anything the maglev elasticity on the TV3 seems a tiny bit weaker. This tells me that part of QiYi's solution to the main problem on the old cube, which was extreme speed, was to make the adjustment system tighter, eliminating the lower settings. That means that instead of having 2 usable center travel settings, which was 3 and 4, you now have 3, which are the bottom 3. It's still not ideal though. I'll talk more about this in the conclusion though. Credit where credit is due though, the dual adjustment system is still the easiest to use of any cube I've tried, and the new magnet adjustment system is also pretty intuitive and efficient. I'm using mine on the middle setting, which combined with Angstrom Gravitas, FZ Calm, FZ Glide, and Weight 1, gives a fast, smooth, soft, and moderately tactile feel. It took me a little while to realize this, but I think the reason why this cube works so well for me is that it fills my Goldilocks cube niche in a slightly different way to the WRM21. It's still effectively a more stable Tornado V3. The turning is lighter, airier, and crunchier than the WRM21, and while it's not quite as forgiving, it rewards accurate turning without punishing you too much for small inaccuracies. I feel I can turn faster on this cube than on the WRM21, and once I get into a flow I can really push TPS and just keep solving, as evidenced by the multiple PB AO100s. I still prefer the feel of the Worm, but this shares the S tier on my tier list for how well it suits my turning style. As to whether you should buy it, my recommendation is to just get the flagship version. I haven't actually tried one yet, but from what I can gather, it will give you much of what I talked about without the extra tactility of the repelling magnets and the weight that they bring, along with the maglev. It also saves a significant amount of money, and you still get an excellent cube with a nice, grippy, semi-gloss finish. After talking with some people about the differences, it seems that the flagship may actually have a looser adjustment system with a wider usable range, which more importantly brings better forwards corner cutting. This cube suits me way better than the Huameng TG, which I've gradually realized just isn't for me. A comparison with the WRM V10 would be a lot closer though. Without having one right in front of me, I would personally say that the TV4 feels better, but if you like strong auto-align, a rounded magnet feel, and an overall cleaner, snappier feel, the V10 might be better for you. They're similarly stable and blocky, although the V10 might be a little bit more blocky. Both have great performance and either would be a great choice. That being said, there is one more cube that might actually fulfill all of those requirements at a lower price, and that would be the MGC Beta. It's still got a relatively soft feel, it's got very tactile magnets, and you have the option to add or remove edge repelling magnets for auto alignment, so that's a nice customization feature. Stay tuned for a review on that because I think that this is a very interesting cube. Of course, when shopping for a new cube, you should also look at some other options, so I'll link the cube guide I helped to work on in the description to help you find what suits you best. Honestly, this section shouldn't be too long at all. Visually, the piece design seems near identical to the Tornado V3. You can have a look at it here. If you're wondering why I'm not disassembling this cube, it's because I've done it enough times and I really do not want my core to break, because that's an issue with this cube. Anyway, the only slight difference that I can visually see is that the ridges on here on the corner feet might be a little bit sharper on the new cube, but that could also be because this cube's a lot more broken in. The geometry is also slightly different because obviously the cube feels more blocky and the reverse corner cutting is marginally worse, but I can't see it, so not much to talk about there. The plastic is also slightly thicker, so you can see that this new cube has slightly more opaque plastic. It's a little bit more white than the Tornado V3. And you can feel that it's a bit thicker, it feels a bit more dense. But I could be wrong, but it might be a slightly different type of plastic because it feels less plush, but I don't really have a way of knowing. Other differences, this corner magnet mount is now integrated into the corner foot instead of being a plastic insert which went into the corner. I believe they did this change on the V3 and in later batches, so that's not super duper new. The magnet adjustment system has obviously been changed for both ease of use and durability reasons, but otherwise there's not really a whole lot else to say about this. It's very similar, but slight differences which make it feel different. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be about the MGC beta, so that's exciting.